I do not know a lot about my biological father.
There's a lot that's here.
Put it on the table.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are you guys from?
Burbank, California.
Oh, perfect. And the first soul that's coming through is actually showing me that they passed in the car accident. Who passed in the car accident or the motor vehicle accident?
That was my friend.
She keeps telling me there was two of us. There was two of us.
So it was her and one other person on the bike. The other person survived and she didn't.
Was that her boyfriend at the time or a boy that she liked?
It was her boyfriend.
Because I see that when I'm connecting that there was this romance that was going on between him and between her. And I keep seeing that, you know, I don't want to make you upset, but I can tell you what she's telling me. She goes, Matt, she goes, there's times when he wishes that he was the one who died on that bike and not me. What's so hard, she says, is that he has been in grief since the moment that I left this world. She goes, and I'm so upset because she goes, I see in heaven that there's people that still blame him and still feel that he's responsible for my passing. I keep hearing brakes screech when I'm connecting. And it was crazy because he stayed with the bike, but she was the one that was thrown. And that's what people can't understand because she didn't know what had happened. And you know, I know the truth about this. He told her to hold on, but she couldn't hear him. I heard all of a sudden him saying, hold on, and she couldn't hear what was saying. And all of a sudden I felt the brake screech, or like I keep hearing brake screeching. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing her being thrown. So please know that this is her way of coming through because she first of all wants to thank all of her friends and her family for the way that they stepped forward and remembered her here in this world. Because I'm seeing at the same time, did you just graduate high school at the time?
She had just graduated high school and then I had graduated high school 2 years before.
Okay, because she keeps telling about she had just graduated. They had just graduated. She keeps telling me about the fact that like everybody couldn't believe it because they were just with her walking across that graduation stage and this had happened. And she's saying to me at the same time that everybody went back to the school to pay tribute to her because she's showing me this field where I see everybody there. And she's saying to me, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So she says to me, she goes, Matt, she goes, I just want them to know that I'm the one that's watching over all my friend group. Everyone that's there, she says, I'm still a part of and I'm watching over them. She says, so please thank them. She says, for everything that they had done for me in a memory of me, because she's acknowledging that. And also, so this is your mom next to you?
Yes.
And did your father pass as well?
Correct.
Your father's here.
Okay.
By the way, he said to me, Matt, don't leave them yet. Don't leave them. I'm there. And your father did not speak English here in this world because he's speaking to me in another language when I'm connecting with him.
I would assume Spanish.
Because when I'm connecting with him, he's speaking to me words that I don't understand.
But tell me and I'll translate for you, Matt. It's good.
Listen, I can't speak another language. I wish I could. It's like when people come to me from China or from different countries. You know, I can't even speak I can barely speak English, never mind other languages. But your loved ones actually speak in spirit. They'll show me different symbols and certain things when I'm connecting with them. How much do you know about your biological father?
I do not know a lot about my biological father. I recently learned a little bit more about him as an adult.
There's a lot that's here.
Put it on the table.
I'm going to put it on the table. Listen, I have a policy, and that policy is that I tell you what the spirits tell me, even if I don't want to.
Perfect.
I don't want to say it. But I'm going to say it. I don't think your father knew that you were his child.
You're correct.
He's telling me, he goes, Matt, I didn't know she belonged to me. I didn't know until I died.
Interesting.
He tells me he never knew about you. And I didn't want to tell you that. I feel so bad telling you this, but I got to tell you what he's telling me.
But it's okay. It's good because I get to put the pieces together and it helps me better understand whatever transpired during that time.
So this is what's happened. Your mother at the time, I keep seeing you have two other siblings. There were two other siblings here. Do you know about that?
I have more siblings, but I'm not sure which siblings you're talking about. There's a total, I'm number 5.
Okay. He's telling me at the time in which you were born, there were two other siblings. There were two other children.
His children, probably.
He had 2 children of his own?
He has 3 other children, but maybe by the time I came around, he had only 2. I don't know.
It's got to be because he's telling me at the time, I'm going years back. I'm going when you were born. He tells me that he knows of 2 children. That's what he knew about at the time when you were born with your mom. I think your mom had 2 kids.
Oh.
And so whatever it was, there's some shady stuff that's here. And I'm going to tell you what that was to me. This is how I'm seeing it. How he's interpreting it is that your mother was with somebody else and did not want to be with him. And your mother discounted the fact that you were born because she didn't want anything to do with him. So she lied to your dad.
I know that much for a fact.
Because I saw your dad coming in and questioning and was saying, well, wait a minute, you have 2 kids and blah, 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 blah. And wait a minute, it's one of these, but whatever. And she said, no, I had a child with this other person and this is not your child. And she tried to to make him believe that that child was, that you were with somebody else. And your dad says to me, he says, I'm going to tell you one thing. He goes, I felt weird. He goes, I heard about her having these other children. I questioned. He says, at the time, I believed her. And your dad says to me that that was one of the hardest things. He says, because he loved children. He loved family here in this world. And it's just crazy because he says to me, Matt, he says, please let her know. He says that I didn't know her here in this world, but I know her now in the afterlife. Your father tells me this. He says, I wish I would have been more pushy here in this world. He says, but at the same time, he says, I'm glad that I'm able to see her now. He says, I'm glad that we're able to get to the bottom of this, because he does tell me that everything that you discovered, everything that you figured out, everything that has happened in your life has happened for a reason. It's because he's been guiding you. There's a such thing as unfinished business. So when your dad got to the other side, something happens when we pass on. And what happens is that we're able to see the truth and the full truth. So when your father got to the other side and said, oh my God, holy shit, I have a daughter. Oh my God. And then he's able to see that, you know, your mom lied to him and didn't tell him and all these different things. Your dad says to me that he went to work on the other side trying to get you to understand the truth. So when all of a sudden information started to come from other family members, when other family members started to come forth and say, well, I know this and I know that, and you started putting the pieces together, all that happened because of your dad. Because when there's unfinished business and your loved ones don't get to say something here in this world, from the afterlife, you better bet your bottom dollar that they come through to try to bring those messages through. And that's what your dad's doing today. Since your dad's passing, he's telling me that, you know, that he's been keeping an eye on you. And at the same time, he does show me a reconnection with his family. So did you reconnect with his family?
I did. I found them finally. After 30 years of searching and digging, I found them, and they live probably 15 minutes away from me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so your dad says to me that he wants to thank you for that. He wants to thank you for reaching out to them. And he's so happy that you did, because he says to me, that's something, goes, Matt, he goes, you don't know me. That's the kind of guy I was. And I feel like his family told you this. Like if he knew that you existed and he knew you were his daughter, he would have came into your life. He would have introduced you to his family. He would have made these introductions happen here in this world. But because of the fact that he didn't know, he was never able to, but he's glad that you did. And your dad says to me that that's the reason why he had to come through tonight and let you know that.
Perfect. I have to tell you that a couple of hours ago, I have one old little picture of him. It's on my mantle. I looked at that picture and I said, come on, you gotta help me put the pieces of my puzzle together. You've got to give me a little bit more.
Listen, he was here for you. And that's what's so crazy, is that anytime that souls can come through and solve a mystery, they will. You know, and it's crazy because sometimes they can put together the pieces of the puzzle. Sometimes, you know, they'll say things that people will be like, I don't know. And then they'll research it and they'll realize, oh my God, that happens. Or I never was told that. So I'm glad that you were able to validate some of these things and that you could finally know the full story. And I'm glad your dad was here tonight.
Thank you very much.